Good morning, All Saints. Here I am in Hoima, Uganda, in the northwest of Uganda. I was here 2 years ago. I've come back to another church of All Saints Hoima. A lot has happened at All Saints Hoima in the last 2 years. Let's go inside and find out. Why I love coming to Africa. The worship here is absolutely amazing. It's so thrilling to be part of people really worshipping God with all their heart and soul, and I just love being here. And All Saints Hoima is an extraordinary place. I told you about it 2 years ago. Such a lot has happened since then. The vicar Paddy and his assistant James is actually doing the videoing for me. Thank you, James. They've worked really hard, and the Lord has really blessed their efforts. When this building that you just saw the inside of 2 years ago was a building site. You couldn't use it for anything. There was scaffolding, wooden scaffolding going right up to the ceiling, which you can see is really high. The walls were just plain brick. Since then, they've plastered the walls. They've put flooring down at the front of the church, although it's still a mud floor on the rest of the church. They've removed all the scaffolding, plastered the walls, and it's about a year ago they moved in for worship, and they demolished their old church. I think it must have been a wonderful moment when actually they moved into their old building, but they demolished they moved into the new building, they demolished the old building. Because the Lord is always doing new things amongst us, isn't He? It's wonderful. Now, the other great thing about All Saints in Hoima is they're not just building a building. They're building a church. And we know that the church is people, not buildings. And it's been marvellous to see that the Lord has been adding to their number. And there were more people here this time than last time I came, which is very exciting. And if I come back, and I pray that I'm going to come back, I hope it's going to be even more full, which is wonderful. Well, I suppose I will tell you about the notices. You've all had your notices. Please have a look at what Nicky Gumbel says about blessing on the back, which was such an encouragement to me when I read it. Also, could you pray for me this morning? I'm actually preaching in St. Peter's Cathedral in Hoima, and I'm not usually the kind of person that preaches in cathedrals, so it's a bit scary. So please pray for me. As you can see, I'm wearing a real dog collar to come out here to Uganda. Hope you're impressed. There are a couple of things to mention to you. There's a great concert, or dance concert actually, happening in Emmanuel Baptist Church on the 20th of October. It's going to be a kind of spiritual message to it too. It's really worth taking along non-church friends too. And Karen and Joseph are coming from Sudan actually, or they ministered to Sudan on the 26th of October. Put that in your diary. It's going to be really great. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, you see that Coffee Pot is looking for volunteers. Donalda and Anne and Sheila have done an amazing job for the last 14 years or so. They got Coffee Pot off the ground, and then they've They've been faithfully serving week after week. But they've decided next Easter is the time they're going to hang up their aprons, and they need some volunteers. This is a major way in which we can touch the people, the lives of the people who come to Coffee Pot. It's fantastic. So if you believe that God is calling you to maybe serve at Coffee Pot, have a word with Sheila in particular, and come along and see what happens. It will be really great. Well, this is such an exciting place to be. I wish everyone in All Saints could come to Africa, could come to Uganda, and in particular to come to All Saints Hoima. When I preached in there last Sunday, I said to the musicians, I said, I wish I could put you in my luggage and take you home, because it's so exciting. But I hope you've got just a little flavour of what this church is like. It's such a great place to be, such an exciting fellowship with God's people, and God is doing amazing stuff here. Well, that's all for now. Have a fantastic week, and hopefully, by God's grace, I'll see you next week. Bye!